today we're going to be talking a bit about tech debt reduction and what we're seeing in the marketplace, not only with our clients, with our partners. But before we get into that topic, I'd like to introduce Bruno.
Hey, I'm Bruno Zani. I'm also part of the Red Hat Global Team for Financial Services, and I work with our customers and partners, helping them with understanding their roadmap for modernization and transformation and how technology enables their business strategy.
So, what I'd like to do is take us back a little bit in history. I would say tech debt's been a topic, but with different labels around for quite a while, and there's been different approaches on trying to tackle this. Organizations have always seen that the legacy buildup of applications and technology they have is pretty extensive. So what they've done is the traditional, what I would call vertical approach in around functions and applications, trying to reduce that as they go forward, all the way to using digital transformation, something I did on my consultancy days, having that digital footprint driving the changes on the underlying technology, all the way to data lakes, using applications like Hadoop, trying to put everything in a data lake and doing a data extraction from that. And I think they all had their own approaches and their own successes, but generally, as a rule, there was a heavy load and it was slow and what I would call not flexible. And then the hyperscalers came on board, and the view was let's put everything onto one what I would call hyperscaler. And once again, that didn't work. And really stepping back, the institutions, the industries realize that what they have is a what I call a very diverse, fluid operating environment from on-prem, off-prem, prime, multiple cloud providers, you name it. So they needed something a bit more what I would call flexible, adaptive, and then basically agile, because the world's moving really quickly and the new modernization journey for technology. And that's kind of where we're coming into this topic about tech debt. What we see from the marketplace is that more and more players are looking at OpenShift because of its investment in the connectivity to those players that we just talked about. And then also the ability to have agility and adaptive tools as you go forward. And what we're finding out is that there seems to be a what I would call appetite to look at that for multiple reasons. What we're finding out from our clients and our partners is they're looking at tech debt not only to reduce the cost base, but to take that savings and invest them into what I would call the modernization journey. And the partners we've been working on, especially Bruno and I have, they've been all looking at the modernization journey using tech debt as what I would call a catalyst for change as you go forward. And the clients are looking at them not only to help them scope out the mandate and the target operating model, but also to be able to do the burst capacity and the functional skills that these large, what I'll call consultants have, for the skill that these firms have, and the need over what I would say, for us, maybe 3 to 5 years is short term, but that's pretty quickly for what I would call the central banks, and then also the FMIs, and then also the investment banks. 3 to 5 years is really quick to change their organization radically into the modern journey as you go forward. So with that, I think Bruno will go into some of the how and what we've done. And over to you, Bruno. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And I think the real differentiator that we bring from the Red Hat side is our OpenShift platform, which really becomes a catalyst to enable this modernization in a, let's call it, less disruptive way. So the clients do have the option to modernize some of their workloads on-prem, some on the cloud. OpenShift is now a platform that allows you to bring both virtualization, so traditional virtual machine workloads, and containerization. It becomes the same platform to build, develop, operate, secure your workloads. And the reality is, as Jim was mentioning, all our financial services customers are using a mix of clouds and on-prems, and sometimes maybe more traditional data centers, sometimes even more on a private cloud type of service. And it becomes quite braining on organizations to try to keep up modernization across all these different environments, and they end up having silo teams trying to reinvent the wheel and do the same thing over and over. And we bring in our expertise developing these platforms and implementing these platforms in a performant and secure manner for our customers everywhere. And we work with our system integrator partners, which really have the scale to then go beyond the technology. There's the technology, which is great, and we provide that. And then there's also an organizational shift to be able to build on the value that this platform brings in. So this is types of things that we work with our customers and our partners to understand the Red Hat technologies that we have to offer and how they will enable a progressive modernization, cost optimization, and portability of their workloads across the different infrastructures that they run. Jim, not sure if you want to add anything else.
No, I would say, we just wanted to give you a sample of what we see out there. And if anybody has any follow-up questions, by all means, reach out to Bruno or myself. More than likely, we're working with your consultancy partners to help them along this journey with yourselves. But it's been a pleasure having a few minutes here to have a discussion, and we'll talk to you in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the time.